What is up, winning team? Hello, you guys. And in this video, I just want to give some glory to God, and I want to talk about a few things, a few key things I've been thinking about that God has done that I'm just so grateful for. Because obviously, as you all know, we're in this season where, people's seeds and whatever you planted your seeds is about to, bear its fruit in the upcoming season. And, I'm just so grateful to God for so many small things. And also, I've been talking a lot about how, my mental health is in the bin. And I really feel like, God has the last few days, especially since I've been sharing with you guys. I don't know, there's something funny about me, the combination of me sharing my struggles as well as my faith at the same time, where then just God just kind of then just shows up. And I feel like it's because I'm declaring it publicly to everybody that listen, this is how I feel, but I still have faith. It doesn't make any sense. A lot of people would either try and pretend that everything's fine because they don't want to look like they don't have faith, or would not have faith because of the circumstances. So anyways, I wanted to give you guys some examples of specific details about my life that I feel like, wow, God was really protecting me, and also just recently things he's been doing that I really feel like it's like, God, you're really looking after me, actually. So it was to start with the mental health aspect, right? And then we'll get into some deeper ones. Because I got to give context. I do sometimes, even though I don't like what God does and how he does it, I can see why it's important. It goes back to what I say about, looking after kids and why you've got to do what's best for them. But we're going to come to that in a second. So over the last couple of days, I've been just finding a lot of new songs that I like. And you know what? I used to be the kind of person that would spend more hours listening to music than even I spent sleeping. But then obviously ever since, me and God, we had our moment where, I decided to cut everything off and start everything afresh and all of that. I've not really been a music girly since then. I don't really listen to music a lot anymore. And I'm not mad about it, because the thing is, I'll be really honest. Unless I'm listening to the deep worship music where I'm here with my hands stretched to the heavens singing to the Lord, my music isn't really good for me to listen to. The kind of music I like to listen to, you know what I mean? I don't really necessarily think it's good for the soul. And then all the nice, happy, clappy, wholesome music I don't like, in reality. You know what I mean? Unless I get to the love songs. But I tend to just cry listening to those, because I'm just love. And then I get to my hopeless romantic mode. But anyway, if recently I've had a few just really good songs, and I'm just it's been actually helping, to just have, especially when I'm out in nature, because that's one time where I like to just, because I can just be out and I can just vibe and just dance and and just enjoy these songs. And it's just kind of reminded me, so the last few days I've just the last couple of days I just keep coming across new songs that I like, and it's just working for me. Yesterday, I heard a song so good that I started to think about choreography, and I was like, wow, I'm actually thinking away from my problems. It's the first time, the first thing, because obviously my job is a reminder of everything that's annoying me. Everything is, whatever I have to do, cooking for myself and eating in the morning, doing work, waking up, reading the Bible, looking outside, walking around, being around people. Everything is a reminder of everything that's frustrating me. So it's hard to escape my feelings, because it's the world itself that is that I'm giving me the heebie-jeebies. It's making me uncomfortable. So for me to just hear a song and then start thinking choreography, because it's only when I'm being creative, honestly, that I forget about everything. I've come to realize it's only when I'm being creative that I can actually disconnect. So when I'm now listening to this song I heard, I think yesterday, or no, not yesterday, obviously I was listening to yesterday, the day before yesterday. And it was so good to the point that I was like, no, I need to come out with choreography now. I need to actually choreograph. And I started to think about booking the studio, putting out an ad to see if any of the local dancers, because I know there's a lot of good dancers in this town, want to come and be in a video. And for me to get to that stage of the song, that means that the song is really banging. And so I've been listening to this song, and I'm trying to give myself make it my little mini project to choreograph to this song, right? Because I feel like it would just be, and I've just been envisioning it, and I've just been envisioning being in the studio, and I miss being in the dance studio so much. I miss just going in the studio and just having, because as I'm saying, I used to have a long playlist of songs, and I'll just be there alone in the studio for hours, just dancing and just listening to my songs and just blasting them with the music, and I missed it. So that's one little thing, like, you know, and it's all these little things. Like, the Lord does something, the Lord knows me, he knows the types of things that will cheer me up, you know what I mean? And he always delivers on them in the same way that, like, this is why I feel like he kind of uses, you see these guys I keep talking about, I feel like the Lord is the one making this stuff happen, because every single time, like, it happens exactly like this. So say I wake up today and I'm like, oh my gosh, I feel like a gremlin, I'm looking bloated, like being a woman sucks, like I need to jump off a cliff, like I'm ugly, I'm fat, like, you know, I'm having one of them ones, right? Literally those days, and the days when it's like getting to me, because obviously I feel like that most of the time. The only times I really feel confident is probably literally during ovulation, and that's it. And that's obviously a scientific thing, you know, that as women we feel more, you know, ourselves and confident and whatever hormonally during ovulation, obviously, because our body is trying to get us pregnant. So, you know, anyway, so I'm like, most of the time I'm thinking, oh, I never look at myself in the mirror. I hate looking at myself. The only time I look at myself is on YouTube, ironically. So every time I go to like record and I go onto the camera, I'm like, well, let's see what the horror show is today. And so the times I'm in those kinds of moods, it will always be on that day, in that, like, when I'm thinking that morning, that like the moment I leave the house, there'll be a guy who'll stop me and be like, wow, do you work out? Do I work out? What about my body is giving you the idea that I work out? That's like one of the best compliments ever. Or like, wow, you've got such beautiful eyes, you've got such a lovely smile, or whatever. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And in my head I'm thinking, you don't know the boost I needed. This, I gotta say, long live the patriarchy, you guys, because these guys out there, they have helped my mental health. I remember there was once upon a time I spoke with this guy who watched my videos. I don't know if he still watches them. And I, at that moment, this was like 2 years ago, I had been getting so annoyed hearing the sound of my own voice. Actually, this happened to me again. A couple days ago. So I was getting so annoyed at the sound of my own voice, thinking, oh, my voice sounds so ugly. Like, I was thinking that this morning. This happened a couple days ago, actually like 2 days ago. I was getting so annoyed at the sound of my own voice, right? I was thinking, oh, my voice sounds so horrible, like, like I sound like a man, and so like, just, I hate it, right? This guy was like, wow, I think your voice is such a turn on. And I was like, what? And I was like, no way, because it's the exact opposite. And this is why I feel like these things happen, because the Lord knows I need a little boost, and he knows I'm not getting it from anywhere unless he does it. So this is why I love the Lord. Anyway, so it's little things like that he does, like the songs. He always throw me a song, and it'll always be like a song with like good lyrics. Like, that's when I know it's the Lord, because it's always like a song that's got like the lyrics in, and it's not necessarily, it's always a song that's got like clean lyrics, let's put it like that, as in like they're not outside of God's character, you know what I mean? Although I will say, I've been listening to Glorilla. Yeah, this is one song by her, and I can't lie, it's been hitting. I'm not going to say which song it is, but yeah, one of her verses, yeah, that song is hitting for me, because she just ate up with it. And, you know, anyway, so the music thing, and then just like the compliments, like I said, it always happens. I'm feeling my ugliest. I'm like leaving the house. I'll like leave the house thinking, oh my gosh, I look so horrible today. Like, I just like, what is wrong with me? Like, whatever. And then someone stopped me like, oh my gosh, I love your boots. And I'm like, really? Thank you. Like, because they don't really know, people don't realize how much I needed to hear that. And this is also why I say to you guys that like, should never underestimate our power as humans, and never think that we don't have power, because so many times it's like the little things that we're doing, we don't think we're doing something that big that are actually having an impact. So like, people don't realize I've woken up, I'm having a horrible day, and to top it off, I'm feeling ugly, right? Because that just is like, at least let me have one thing. This is what I say to the Lord, I'm like, God, give me at least one thing. I at least need to either, if everything else is going to be wrong, I at least want to feel cute, you know what I mean? I at least want to feel cute or something. Like, give me something, you know? And so, you know, people don't realize that how much they made my day, and then I'll like hippity hop away afterwards, because I'm like, now I'm feeling like confident again. And then I'll be all on YouTube like, hi everyone, what's up winning team? Because now I'm feeling myself, right, after all of these things. So I really appreciate it. And it's just funny, because I feel like the Lord allows these things, or kind of orchestrates them on purpose, because he knows how I'm feeling. And that's why I feel like God really cares about me. Like, I really feel like he truly cares, because he's looking at me like, because to me, that's like love. It's like somebody that knows you well enough that you don't have to always overly communicate exactly what's wrong, but they can just notice something in you, and then they notice it, and then like they do something about it, you know what I mean? So this is why I feel like my standard of love is just somewhere else. And I've realized that my reasons for not really wanting to participate in love, friendship, and family in the world is because the standard of love in the world is in the bin. And the standard of love I experience from the Lord is just so high. Like, it's like he over like did it for everyone, and he kind of ruined it for everyone because he's just so considerate and about the small things, because sometimes it's not the big things, you know. Obviously there's a lot of things that need to change in my life and a lot of things I'm waiting for and all of that, but like for him to care so much about the small things, for him to just think, you know what, let me give my daughter a little pick me up, you know, give her a song, because like giving me a song that I like is like one of the greatest things you can do, because it's really hard to get me a song that I like, because no, it's not actually, but it's just that most people just listen to the same generic nonsense, right? So when somebody plays me something a bit different, I'm like, wait a minute. That happened to me as well. One time I was like hanging out with my brother. There was a song I had heard and I'd seen it in a dance video, and it just kept playing in my head, and I couldn't for the life of me find it anywhere. And it's not like a proper mainstreamy kind of song, but it's, you know. And I remember I was like hanging around with my brother and he just played the song and I was like, yes! Like I found the song. So yeah, you know what I mean? So it's the little things, you know what I mean? Those little things. Or like I'll go out into the supermarket or go shopping or something, and like something that like I really like is just happens to be on a special deal. And I'll feel like, you know what, Lord, thank you, because actually everything is so expensive at the moment. And I'm so happy, and I'm so happy that like this, whatever it is, this little special treat, whatever, or something like clothing wise, or, you know, whatever, online or something, like there'll just be like a special deal or just hit my inbox of exactly the thing that would cheer me up. And I'm just like, God, you're so real for that. Or the other day, another example was like, I was feeling like, oh, what if I'm losing my mind with this whole Moses' generation thing? And like, what if I keep just, you know, like, and I feel like he's like fighting for me. Like, that's what it feels like. You know, I was thinking, and I was like, am I overdoing it? Like, do I need to like stop talking about this Moses' generation? And then just like that, the lady who I listen to every morning, I woke up, I was listening to her message yesterday, and she was like talking about, you know, holding on, and how, you know, Moses, he trusted God and he tapped the rock when they needed water, and the people were complaining, and Moses had to hold on to his faith. And I was just like, oh my gosh, that's exactly what I've been talking about. I'm so happy that, like, you know, that I'm in that in sync and I'm in tune, and it just gives like the little bit of like, you know, boost I needed to feel like I am on the right path and I am headed in the right direction. So I'm so grateful to God for that as well. Like, just that, like, you know, I can hear these messages. Or even Marcus Rogers, he had a message I was listening to, and the title, I wasn't sure where he was going with the title, but then when I listened to the content of the video, it was again like really encouraging, and it was basically saying, you know, like how a lot of us are going under even more pressure, and that like we're gonna be under even more pressure, and we just have to see it through because that's what we're about to cross over. So like we just need to, you know, it is harder, and the warfare is stronger, because I was thinking, God, am I doing something wrong? I was been saying to me, like, am I doing something wrong? Because I feel like the pressure, I'm doing my best, and I feel like the spiritual warfare has got worse. You know what I'm saying? And so to hear that message, I was just like, oh, that was like the encouragement I needed. Her message was like the encouragement I needed, like these compliments that people gave me, like the little bits of encouragement that I needed, you know, or even like, you know, being asked to help with this kid, and like being actually recommended and recruited, and somebody thinking specifically of me as the person they think is the best. And like the way like they were speaking about me to this child's mother, and like how she's the best for the job, she's amazing in what she does. They were telling me how proud they are of how far I've come, and like I was just like, wow, I like, you know, I'm just so, I feel like, wow, God, you really like sent in all the big guns, like to encourage me, like in a time that I'm really just like, God, I'm holding on to my faith, and I look like the craziest person of all time, and I'm under fire. I've got warfare coming in left, right, and center. So like to have so much of that, like, you know, happening at the same time is so encouraging. And I'm like, it really feels like God is fighting for me. Like, that's what I mean. I feel like he's fighting for me. Like he's fighting, like I'm fighting with you and for you, you know what I mean, kind of thing. And so I'm really grateful. But, you know, a few little details like throughout my life, things I've been thinking about, because I really want to also, you know, share my gratitude towards God, even though I'm stressed, you know, and I'm asking him for a lot, but he's really done so much. So like, for example, growing up in this country and even living in this town, I was thinking, so, you know, growing up in this country if I had grown up in the United States, it wouldn't have ended well, because here everybody's so, again, kind of rigid and like tame, that it kind of made me tamer, if that makes sense. Because it's like being under supervision. That's why I laugh, because I realize that God had keeping me in this country, in this town, especially of anywhere in the world, is him keeping me under supervision. Because if I was in London, and like with the experiences I have, and now the confidence I've built since all that's happened with me and him the last 4 years, if that had happened while I was in London and I was just free in the city, wouldn't have been well. It wouldn't have ended well, because I'm not tame, as I think is obvious to you guys. I love to get up to no good. I love to get up to mischief. I love to just risk it all. I love to do risky behaviors. I love to get in trouble for things. I like to misbehave. Like, it's just who I am as a person. Like I told you guys, I'm deviant. I'm a delinquent. I'm a deviant. You know what I mean? Heathen. So, thank God. This is where, when I look at the likes of the Glorillas of it all, I'm like, oh, thank God I didn't grow up in America. Because I can, especially because the line of what she was saying in this song, oh my God, she was talking about why would she like want a girl, why would she want a guy that another girl has, what, because that's, like, why would she do that, and like how, she's like, how she can get D anytime she wants. And I was like, so real. Like, I was like, yeah, I feel this in my soul. Everything about it. Like, I don't know what would have happened. I just know it would have gone off the rails. Maybe I would have become a Red Bull athlete. That would be sick. I love watching the Red Bull athletes, by the way. I would have done, I should have, that's one thing I feel like is sad. I feel like if I had grown up in America, I could have become a serious athlete. And that's one thing because there's nothing like being paid to work out. Can I just say, that's what I miss about like teaching dance. There's nothing like being paid to work out. Because you're like working out and you're being paid, so you get to look cute, feel good, and you're being paid, and I get to be active and move my body, which you all know I need to movement of my body. I need to move my body, otherwise my mental health goes in the bin. Hence why I've now realized, which I'm happy that I've realized that, because now I'm prioritizing doing that, which is also helping my mental health. So yeah, so partly, God like kind of being like, hey, be born in America, like citizen, whatever. And then we're going to get rid of you somewhere else and keep you under supervision, because right now we're not in the place where we've really got the wisdom that we need. And that's again where I feel like he's looking after me, because he's like, look, we need a lot of wisdom with what we're working with here, because what we're working with here is somebody that has the potential to do a lot of good and somebody that has a little potential to do a lot of bad, like wickedness, you know what I'm saying? So we need to just keep you contained, because that's what I feel like now. I feel like, because of how close I am with the Lord, I feel like God, I really feel free and I feel confident, and the types of things I think about doing now, it's like, thank God I got all this wisdom beforehand. Because again, like one of the things that I've never told you guys about this, but like I'm so grateful again to have never made it in the industry. That's another thing I'm glad I didn't do. Like if I was in America, I would have probably pursued harder being in the industry, and I probably would have been more successful with it, because it's America, right? So like I remember when I was at school once upon a time, this is years ago when I was in school, there's this family in America that, their family and our family, like their kids are like similar ages to like me and my siblings ish. And so they had come across this deal with like an agent in America who wanted to book kids on to do this stuff. And they asked if we wanted to be a part of it. This is while I was here in this country, right? And obviously I was so into doing this, you know what I mean? I really wanted to do it, but it all fell through on our end. And I'm going to go ahead and assume, I'm not going to say why I think it went wrong, but let's just say I don't want to say why I think it went wrong on this end, but let's just say we didn't end up taking up this opportunity. Anyways, those kids did go on, and like one of them ended up on Disney Channel. They were doing adverts and all this stuff. But then I'm like looking at it now, and I'm like looking at what I know about the industry. I'm so grateful to God in so many ways. Even me leaving London when I did, I'm so grateful that like at this moment, knowing what I know now, that I've been so far away from the industry. Like I'm so glad I never was successful in the industry. I'm so glad I spent all those years, like all my old dance videos. I don't even like to watch them because I wasn't really putting that much effort into my dances, because I wasn't confident, and I was just, if you see like the footage of me dancing, I wasn't a great dancer, I don't think, you know, because again, now I feel different, because now I'm like, I've come into myself. I've become who I really am. You know what I mean? Then I was like almost playing a character of like who I felt like I was supposed to be. Now I feel like I've come into who I actually am, who God actually made me to be, like, if you know what I mean. And so, you know, I'm so grateful that I didn't make it in the industry. I'm so grateful that that deal fell through and I didn't end up going and being a part of all this stuff in the States. I'm so grateful that I walked away from, you know, the stuff in this industry, and I turned down, you know, this whole opportunity to perform to choreograph at London Fashion Week. And like, that was such a big thing for me, because I just envisioned myself I remember at the time, like, I can milk this for all I want to milk it for. So I was going to make myself like a shirt that was going to have like the logo of my group and have the words like choreographer. Like, I'd had the whole outfit of exactly what I was going to wear. Like, so I'll be walking around London Fashion Week, right, promoting my brand and whatever with my dancers there, looking like I'm supposed to be here, like that. And that really would have, I felt so strongly deep down, like, if I go and do this, like, my career is going to take off, because now I'm around so many people in the industry. Like, now, like, and I'm me. I talk with people, I'm charismatic, and what I touch turns to gold. So this is what I'm saying, like, the Lord had to just keep me tame. Like, that's what I'm saying. I would have gone full blown into becoming an athlete, or I would have gone full blown into the industry. I would have gone full blown into, I don't know, becoming a freaking scientist and working on, I don't know, the fourth dimension. But because I kind of just, you know, the Lord kept just kind of pulling me into places, he just like kept me like, and this is me being under supervision. I was thinking about this, that like, wow, based, like, if just looking at the experience, the opportunities I get even being here in this town, imagine if I was in London, like right now, with who I've become now, and my degree of confidence and self-worth and self-value, and just also just wisdom and just pizzazz that I've achieved, I've gotten to now. Oh my gosh, it would be dangerous, you guys. It would be so dangerous. You know what I'm saying? Because I would go all in. So, you know, yeah. So I just thought I would mention a few things, you know, or even me being in the relationship I was in, you know, I don't really regret it, because do you know what? Being in a relationship for 5 years and because I'm a very loyal person, and God knows that. That's why one of the reasons I feel like, you know, people be like, oh, you know, it wasn't good to be in that relationship. It actually was good, because A, he was mildly controlling, which also, again, kept me kind of supervised and not doing things I would have been doing, which was good. B, because I was so loyal to one person, and that whole section of my life was already kind of like dealt with. It's kind of like now, and how God letting me catch feelings, because I'm now not just like out here just like, you know, trying to catch feelings for anybody, and that's already locked in. It's like, it's not a distraction now. Now I'm not distracted. I'm not interested in the whatever. So like the male department's not even an area of interest for me, because I've already, like, that's the space is taken. It's like, just like when, like before, which means it keeps me focused on other things that I need to be doing. So again, it's like, I see what you're doing there, Lord, because now I've been so focused, because I'm not thinking like, oh, should I be this, or I'm not thinking, oh, should I go out dating or not, that I want to be I don't know, guys. I don't know if I want to be in a relationship or not, to be honest with you. I really don't know. I genuinely don't know. But like, I'm like, oh, that area is taken. And so therefore I'm focused, because I don't need to be thinking about that. So whereas other people are spending a lot of time, like, this is what I noticed about a lot of these guys I come across. I'm like, wow, you guys really are really fixated and like really spending a lot of time and money and energy thinking about being in a relationship. And a lot of people are, like, I see it all the time, even on social media. I see people being like, trying to, you know, single life, and how they're struggling with single life. And I'm like, this is a distraction. I do feel like it's a distraction from, you could be doing other things, you know? And so because of that, so it's just like all these things that, you know, like, I'm so grateful to the Lord for, and I'm grateful that like he protected me from my true version of myself until the time I had the wisdom, you know, to use it for good, because I would have been easily manipulated. Like, this is the thing, I would have been easily manipulated, say, in the industry, or I have been easily manipulated. That's been the problem. That's why I'm here with so many regrets, because people just took a lot of advantage of my ignorances and my naivety, and hence why I don't want to have any close relationship with anybody, because I don't want to have to be overthinking every relationship. I don't have to be overthinking if I'm being used or not, you know what I mean? So I'd rather just keep myself at a distance from everybody, you know. So I feel like, had all this stuff about me come out sooner, that's coming out now, like I've not even reached my final form, but I'm trying to reach my final form now. But like, had I been my true self sooner, I feel like that those things would have taken advantage. Had I been more confident back in the days when I was, dancing, I would have, done so many more things, and I don't know where I'd be in the industry. Had I been more confident, like just in myself, had I been my true self, like how I am now, because I do recognize a correlation between the closer I'm getting to God, the more I'm becoming like who God created for me to be, the more I'm kind of encountering the opportunities that are like my actual dreams. And it's like, I remember, I'll never forget this message that was done by one of these men of God that I listened to, and he was saying how, heaven's blessings, they recognize, they will, it's like, he basically gave the analogy of like, if you need like face recognition access, and it's almost as if like what God has for you in this life, like imagine it's like locked in like a room, if you will, and you need the face access, like your face access to get in. But like the access comes when you become the face that is supposed to access it. And he was basically saying it like in terms of who you are. So like the old version of me, like before, when I was all tame and all trying to like, and again, my real nature still comes out anyway, but when I was all tame and I was all trying to like look like what a Christian should look like and do the right thing and be good and be responsible and be mature, when I was doing all of that, I wasn't looking like what would attract the things that I want. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't looking like what would give me access to the things that which God has for me, because I was being somebody else. Because a lot of people now will probably think I've changed, and I have, but this is actually who I am. And honestly, I'm grateful that the Lord has brought me through this journey in that way as well, because I'm like, wow, I like me now. Before, I didn't like myself. I realized at some point that I had a lot of self-hatred, like a long time ago. But these days, I like myself. Like, I've never loved myself more. I've never looked in the mirror and thought, yeah, that's me. Like, you know what I mean? When people come up, are offended or disagree with how I conduct myself or whatever, I no longer care. Like, I used to care before because I was trying so hard to like be something I thought I was supposed to be. Now it's like, oh no, I love being in my own skin now. And like, I like being here. So if it offends people, it's like, looks like we're not aligned. Oh well, toodaloo. Because there's plenty of people who I am aligned with, and I've noticed even since then, like even my relationships with you guys, I knew that some people would fall away, but some of you guys I've actually gotten closer with as more I've become more my true self. And so I'm like, whoa, this is so cool. So yeah, all to say, there's so many examples I could give you guys of just things, like so many examples of things that have happened. But I just really wanted to send out a message of gratitude, like to the Lord, and just publicly say, thank you, Lord. Like, thank God for everything that he does for me, in every way, shape and form, and that he's always like protecting me, and that like I'm so much more happy to have delayed in a lot of ways, even though I'm not married. I'm pushing 30 now, and I really want to achieve a lot of things that require me to be in best form in my physical body. So one of the things I want to do one day is the triathlon. I want to do the Ironman. I really think I can do it. If I train for it, I think I can do it. So this is why I need the Lord to expedite everything at the moment, because I need to be able to get this done, right? And I need to, you know what I mean? Because I really want to compete in the Ironman. And I think I can do it, but I'll need to have the time and resources to train properly, because I'm going to have to get like a proper bike. For example, I'm going to have to like really get into a swimming regimen. I do know how to swim, but the proper swimming regimens, running as well, like get into the gear is expensive as it is, like just to train. So I need to, and then also I need to have the time in my schedule and also be able to sleep healthily and eat properly, and like it's going to be, but I think I can do it. So I mean, in a perfect world, I want to do the triathlon for my 30th birthday. That's the dream, to do the Ironman for my 30th birthday. Hence why I'm like, God, I'm 28 now. That's 2 years to train. So like the time is running away. Please, Lord. You know what I'm saying? But also I'm grateful that like God was like, I feel like he kind of snatched me out from so many like potential pitfalls. I could be one of these, you know, in Hollywood, you know, but I don't think I would have ended on the side of like, you know, doing things in underground tunnels, because I think I was always going to have these convictions that I've had. But I think I would have ended up on the side of like dies at 25 from a drug overdose, and like, you know, what happened to her, you know, like kind of a you know, type of vibe, or a Britney Spears moment, or like, or in a conservatorship, trusting the wrong people, because I can so see how that would have happened to me. And I definitely believe I have a family that would do that. I will say that, but I'll say that just plainly. I do believe they would do something like that. I would absolutely do that if they could. So I'm like, God, thank you, God, that I never was successful enough for anybody to try and put me under some conservatorship, especially because of my crazy behavior. That's what would have made it easy for them to do it. So that's why I'm like, God, thank you. Like, truly, thank you for snatching me out from, you know, the city, and like doing all this work with me, so that I don't have to take all these things and become one of these leaders, you know, who's like in their success and having the platforms and all of this and riches and whatever, but all these demons, you know what I mean, and all this pride. I'm so grateful that we've been doing all this work together, so that when his blessings do come through, I do make it to the promised land, I'm not taking all of that with me. I don't have to live in pride. I don't have to live in shame. I don't have to live as a hypocrite. You know what I'm saying? I'm so grateful that he's just snatched me away, and like he taught me all these things, so that like, you know, because my biggest fear like with the Lord is like, God, I don't want to lose you. Like, I don't want to be like so many people who God blesses, and then when they like become successful, they walk away from him. You know, all the artists, the Katy Perrys and the Beyoncés, and so many of them started singing in church. You know, so many of, and look where they are now. So many people, even believers, because as I've said to you guys, I don't know that some people who consider themselves believers, I don't know that a lot of them are as with the Lord as they think they are. I don't think they are at all, actually. As soon as they have what they prayed for, then they forget God. And like, that's for me is what's important. Like, after everything he's done for me, like after every single thing he's done for me, I never want to forget him. Like, I never want to forget the Lord, and I never want to get to the place where my life is so good with all the things that I have that like I no longer, like, it makes me really sad to think that I would just forget him, you know what I mean? Or like, you know, I've told you guys this story so many times, like that day when I was in the studio, it's like, God, should I just give up entirely, you know? And I auditioned for all these things, and then I auditioned for Hillsong, and I don't get into the Hillsong dance team, which thank God, because now we know what we know about Hillsong. Again, I thought I was doing the good Christian girl thing, but then I get into this other dance company, you know what I mean? And I'm working with the industry professionals. The guy who ran it was voted the #1 dance teacher in the country. You know what I mean? And it was the best training I ever had. Like, it was literally the best dance training I ever had. And it was just like something that I will take with me forever. And I got to do so many cool things as a result, like, you know, perform so different types of things, you know, make industry types of connections, and just like, wow. And again, that I got into that day after I'd been crying to the Lord, like, God, am I supposed to be here? Am I supposed to be doing this? Like, he's just been there for me and with me the whole entire way. Like, the whole way the Lord has been with me, and, you know, and just knowing what he's doing, you know what I mean? And I'm just so grateful that like every single thing, like, that's why I really believe that God has always been there, because whatever we talk about, whether it's, you know, school, whether it's, you know, whatever, church, whatever, like every area of my life, God has always been working in those areas, you know what I mean, and been protecting me in some kind of way by being in those situations, you know what I'm saying? Because again, even when I was in a relationship, it was because of this guy. If it wasn't for him, I would not have realized a lot of things I didn't realize, because he'd always say, you know, like, the reason why you used to get all this type of attention is because of the way you dress. You need to change the way that you dress, because you shouldn't be dressing like that. I like to have my boobs out, and I like to have my body out, you know what I'm saying? And he was like, you can't dress like that, because like that's why you're attracting that attention. It might seem obvious to people, but I'm a woman, so I'm not out here looking at people's bodies like that. So to me, it's just how I was comfortable. So it hadn't occurred to me. That's what I mean. There's so many things that I think people just assumed I was being delinquent, and I really didn't know. You know, also like one of the things I even mentioned in a video yesterday, I didn't have good boundaries with people because being a dancer, I'm used to touchy feet. We were all touching each other all the time, and it's natural, you know what I mean? And we were always like, I'm used to touching the opposite sex. So sometimes I could be too touchy feely in a way that's like, is sending the wrong signals, if you will, with the opposite sex. I never realized that. So then again, because of him, and thank God for that situation, because ain't nobody else freaking telling me any of this stuff, right? Like about how I'm supposed to dress, like how I need to dress more appropriately, or like, you know, boundaries with people. Thank God for that. So then ever since that, then I changed also the way that I interact with the opposite sex, you know what I mean? Even since everything ended and whatever, like, because I realized, oh, I need to like keep strong boundaries, because I didn't realize, you know, men, they're very excitable is the word I'll use. So you really have to have strong boundaries, like, and really have to like not be like me, who's like gets in people's spaces and touches people's legs, and you know what I mean? And that's just because I'm just that person. I'm a very touchy-feely kind of person, right? So I will just touch you. I'll be all, you know, all up in your space, which is not like, you know, not to say I'm not, it's not like I got a bad response from it, but that's the problem, you know what I mean? And so it's all these like little tiny details of things, so many things that wouldn't make sense to other people, so many things, like I said, about that relationship, like people would think, oh my gosh, you know, that should have never happened, but honestly, thank God it did, because I learned a lot. I learned a whole freaking lot about it. Also because he was autistic, that's just another thing, and he was diagnosed super duper young, like before it was a thing. So I've seen firsthand, I've read the documents, and I've seen somebody who's truly like kind of who's really on the spectrum versus all this stuff today. So then now when we're at where we are today, it's like when people are telling me stuff, it's like, you don't understand. I have really in-depth experience, like with like the old school version. So when I'm seeing this new school thing, and again, that's just God being a genius, just like the entropy in university and God being a genius. Little did I know that sitting in my lecture with Dr. John Tandy, the greatest project supervisor of all time, I was going to one day write a whole book about Adam and Eve based on the law of entropy, right? That I did in my degree. Who knew? And I wanted to study maths, but ended up studying chemistry. And like, it's just crazy how so many things that weren't my plan, or seemingly were mistakes to others, or seemingly things went wrong or whatever, all this led to where we are today. And that's why I just wanted to say publicly, I'm so grateful to the Lord, like so grateful for the fact that he is in every single detail of my life. He cares about every single little thing, and I'm so grateful to him for that. So yeah, just wanted to make that video just to say that. Before I get into the rest of today's topics, because yeah, I just love God. This is what I mean. Like, he's fighting so hard for me. Like, it's not hard for me to want to do his work. It's not hard for me to be on his team. It's not hard for me to dig deep in my faith, because like, look at how much he loves me. Like, this is how much he loves me. Like, he loves me so much. Like, he loves me so much to just care about every detail, orchestrate every detail, and be there all the way with me and for me, you know what I mean? And just having my back. And even when it doesn't make sense to others, like even when it's unconventional to others, he knows why he's doing what he's doing. He knows why he's allowing what he's allowing. And I'm just so grateful to him. So yeah, I just wanted to make that video just to say my gratitude to the Lord. And on that note, guys, if life's a game, let's play to win. God bless you all. God loves you. I love you. And I'll see you in my next one. Goodbye.